Welcome back. This Saturday, Kamloops residents go to the polls to decide whether or not we should borrow up to $49 million for a new proposed performing arts center in downtown Kamloops to be located at the former location of Kamloops Daily News. But is everyone for it? Nellie Dever joins us today. She is the committee spokesperson for a committee called PAC Not Yet. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Susan.
Yes,
I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you because, to be honest, we try to stay balanced with our reporting and balanced on midday as well. And I have had the Yes campaign on, but I didn't know that you guys existed until about 10 days ago.
Yes, we were holding out until after the federal election had gone by. We didn't want to take any attention from the federal election as it was extremely important. And at the same time, this is really important, and we didn't want the federal election to take away from the PAC Not Yet committee as well. And we were also keeping our fingers crossed that another group might come forward and we wouldn't have to. So.
Okay, so it's not saying no to a proposed performing arts center, but not this one. Can you explain that?
Yeah. Really, it's come down to there's a group of concerned citizens that are concerned about the taxation itself. They're concerned about the debt that's going to be put onto the taxpayer, and they're concerned about the overall model and truly believe that more can be done. So currently, as it stands, what's really important is that whoever's going to go vote, they have the full picture in place. So right now, what we've picked up through through city PR is it's 2%, which really equates to $38 a household. But that's not the whole picture, and that's where we're going. Please, people, get informed, have that discussion around what will the end dollar figure be. That 2% will equate to $38 million in property taxes, yes. But on top of that, in order to do the debt servicing, the city needs to come up with $4.6 million a year. And where that's coming from, it's in a very small spot on their city webpage under frequently asked questions. They're wanting to take $2 million out of your gaming and gas tax for 20 years, which is another $40 million. And they also want to take $710,000 out of the parking reserve every year. That's $14 million. So the taxpayer's purse, because that money belongs to the taxpayer, it's a total of $92 million that will come through the taxpayer. And that's the only secured funding that the city currently has. They do have a $5 million contribution from the Fawcett family, which is lovely. But at the end of the day, right now, if the voters say yes, they have to be prepared that they are going to be contributing $92 million to this project. And do they want that money to go to this project, or do they believe that there's other priorities that should take place? Our group, we've looked at the indicative design. We've called general managers in Vernon, Kelowna, Nanaimo. Spent a lot of time with the Nanaimo GM because Kamloops and Kamloops and Nanaimo are very relative to each other. Nanaimo has 108,000 with their catchment area. And we did a great half-hour interview on Radio NL with the general manager, Bruce Halliday, who thoroughly explained where the trends are going. He's helped design 4 theatres across Canada, and he made it very clear that the trend is going towards smaller, not larger, purposely for audience entertainment and having that feel that you're part of the show, but also really for operating cost. The bigger you are, the more staff you have, the higher your operating cost. They have 804 seats in Nanaimo. It has served them very well. Their utility bill is $120,000 because of all of the dimming and everything else that you require in theaters. So we looked at the proposed design that Kamloops has offered, and it's 97,000 square feet. So then we started asking, do you need 97,000 square feet? And above and beyond that, from the financial model, should they be looking at partners? Should they have the private sector involved? Should they have commercial development since they want commercial space? There's great airspace above, as you can see on the design right now. A residential developer would love to be able to develop up above, but a big cost to them is the parkade. So why not partner with a residential developer? And then we really looked at the overall size again. And
do you think it's just too big overall? Like looking at it now, this is sort of the proposed sketch.
This is absolutely too big. The lobby alone is 9,000 square feet. The women's washroom has 28 fixtures, 28 toilets. The main theater is 16,000 square feet, and then the black box is another 7,000. It is massive with several rehearsal halls, and it is too big. We've asked the numbers of the Pavilion Theater and the Sagebrush Theater. We still haven't received those numbers. We were told they'd be put on the city webpage. They haven't been put on. So there's a lot of loopholes in the business case that hasn't been answered. And above and beyond that, again, this should be spread throughout the community, throughout corporate donations, fundraising from the arts community. It's been in the works. It's been on the books for 12 years. No fundraising has taken place. Nanaimo built theirs, No city taxpayer funding.
They fundraise the whole thing?
They fundraise the whole
grants?
thing. And they themselves arrange the government grants. And then they constructed, in order to have the grants released, they turned it over to the city, and then the city did a co-management agreement with the arts community. So now it's co-management. And 2 years after they opened, the city did contribute $600,000 to pay off the construction, and then they've been debt-free ever since.
What would you say to the city staff who would tell you Sagebrush Theatre, it's booked 2 years in advance, the amount of money that's going to come in will pay for a lot of the millions of dollars that the residents would end up having to pay for, just from the people that come in to use the centre? What would you say to those things?
I would say, show me the numbers, show me the books.
You feel it's not been laid out enough?
It hasn't been laid out at all. When you're asking your senior staff, what are your visitor numbers for the pavilion and the Sagebrush 3 weeks ago, and they don't know those numbers off the top of their head, but you could ask, what are the numbers for TCC a year, and it's 892,000 a year. We know what the visitors are there, and you're asking the taxpayers to say yes to 92 million over 20 years, but you don't know those numbers. Something doesn't add up.
So you're asking residents to think twice about this and consider all of the sides to it?
Consider all of the sides. Like we said, we love the arts. This isn't about arts. This is about taxation, the financial model, and the burden it's going to put onto the taxpayers.
Okay, so getting away from what is currently being proposed, if you had your say on your input, what would it look like? The model that you're saying maybe one day to?
From all of the information we've gathered through other communities relative to Kamloops and to people we've spoken to in the arts community as well, we would love to see a performing arts building. We want to see the parkade. We want to see a residential component to it, spread the tax risk, and then include a private-public partnership. So either have a commercial developer take the commercial component, because there is commercial leasing space in this proposed project as well, and then have a residential developer use that valuable airspace, downsize the Performing Arts Centre. We do not need 1,200 seats in the 350 box, black box. You have a casino who just put $40 million into the city. They're going to be building a theatre, 1,000 plus seats. Talk to them, see what acts are similar, what acts are different, make sure that you're not duplicating, and then do some fundraising. Some big names have come out, but we haven't seen any dollars attached to those big names. A lot of people want it, and if they really want it, they should be willing to do a little bit of fundraising for it. Other communities have, why can't we? Why isn't the regional district on board? Vernon has a regional district, Nanaimo has a regional district. At the end of the day, this has to be supported mainly 65% through the local economy and our catchment area. So more people need to come to the table to support it.
You present some interesting arguments, Nellie. I'm glad that you're here today. We are out of time, but tell me this, if people want to learn more, they can go to the Facebook site, of course, that is on the screen. They can also call you. I believe that is your number.
Absolutely. I had to change my voicemail because I wasn't expecting the phone calls we've been receiving. So yes, we do have a Facebook page. It is on the screen for you. And freely, please do call the phone number if you have questions, concerns. We did do the brochure mail out. We would have put financial information in this. We weren't expecting that the city wouldn't do an electoral mail out without disclosing the financial information. So if you need more information on that, please call. You have a few days before Saturday.
Okay, Nellie Dever, thank you very much for being here today.
You're welcome.